There is some exciting news about the scouting event. A few days ago, the devs shared a post on social media talking about the future of the scouting event. They said that the community seemed to find interest in the subject of large locations and unlocking the motorcycle's potential, and that they will be refining and improving on the scouting event after the holiday updates. They mentioned three aspects of the scouting event that needs improvement: procedural generation of the event location, improvement of the reward lineup, adding new permanent areas where you will need a motorcycle, and expanding its use in familiar territories. Okay, let's discuss these aspects and how they could improve the event. Starting with procedural generation. I think here they might have meant a random generation, because as I understand it, procedural generation is something far more complicated than it seems. For example, a game like Minecraft uses procedural generation. The game map of Minecraft is not preloaded. Instead, it is generated using a bunch of algorithms. All terrain is generated as the player explores the world, the caves, the mountains, the structures, and so on. However, in my opinion, I don't see how procedural generation would function in Last on Earth, specifically in the uncharted territories. Because reason number one, the location itself is pretty small when you compare it to the world of Minecraft. Procedural generation is used to make vast and infinite worlds. Now, of course, it could also be used in smaller areas, such as the uncharted territories, but for me, I don't really see the point of that. Second reason, performance issues. Let's not forget that Last Day on Earth is a mobile game, and phones are definitely less capable than computers. So adding procedural generation in Last Day on Earth would create performance issues for players, especially the ones that have a weak phone. So in my opinion, here the devs were talking about random generation. It is the same concept as procedural generation, but it is simply less complicated. And random generation is something that we already have in Last Day on Earth. For instance, in the farm, there are a couple of things that are randomly generated. The chests are not always in the same positions. The areas contain random enemies. For example, sometimes it is raiders and other times it is zombies. So there's already some sort of randomization in locations, but of course it is in small scale. With uncharted territories, it could be taken to a whole new level. The roads, the areas, the enemies, the chests, and so on. This would make the location even more enjoyable to play. Imagine that every time you reset the area, everything would change, becoming like a whole new location to explore. What do you think? Is this something you would like to see in Last Day on Earth? And what do you prefer, procedural or random generation? Share your thoughts down below in the comments. Okay, next up, the devs mentioned improvements to the reward lineup. Personally, I think that there are three main things that need to be changed. The overall rewards should be worth the time and effort spent clearing the uncharted territories. The infinite crates should be free to play, so that everyone would be able to farm the event. And finally, the addition of a shop, so that players can have other ways to earn special rewards. If these three changes are made, the scouting event would be greatly improved, and players would be more likely to actually grind the event and try to obtain the best reward possible. Lastly, the devs talked about adding permanent locations where players would need to use the bike. And this is, in my opinion, the greatest change for Last Day on Earth. The first keyword here is permanent. Yes, Kifir, this is what we want. This is what we have been asking for. Permanent content. Yeah, sure, the events are good, but permanent content is better. The chopper becoming more useful in Last Day on Earth is also something that we really need, because for now, the main use of the chopper is the storage it provides. We don't use the chopper for anything else really. So yes, the chopper needs expanding. We need to use the chopper in the normal locations we already have. Also, the bike upgrades they introduced would actually become useful. Right now, most of the upgrades are only usable inside the uncharted territories. They are completely worthless outside of the event. So Kefir needs to find a way to make these upgrades more useful in regular locations. These were the aspects that the devs mentioned. However, something that they did not talk about was the problem of gasoline consumption. As we know, exploring the uncharted territories with the bike uses a lot of fuel. It is an issue for many players who don't have access to large quantities of gasoline. Devs need to find solutions for the problem of gasoline consumption. Maybe they can add an upgrade that reduces the gasoline consumption. Or maybe we can find more gasoline inside the enchanted territories. Either way, I think that the issue needs to be fixed. Another thing that the devs did not mention was the possibility of making the scouting event a permanent location. It is something that many of us were talking about when the scouting event came out. Many players were thinking that the scouting event would be permanent because of how much effort the devs put into making the uncharted territories. It is logical that such a huge update would be permanent, but for now, it does not seem to be the case. But maybe in the future, developers might change their mind. Maybe once they implement all the improvements they mentioned, they will make the scouting event permanent. The scouting event is the start of something great for Last Day on Earth. It is simply the beginning of a new era. With the scouting event, developers are testing and experimenting with various ideas and concepts, such as the concept of massive locations. And it seems that they are going to focus on improving this concept. I am very hopeful for the future of Last Day on Earth. If Kefir keeps doing what they are doing at the moment, I am sure that the game would be greatly improved and many players would come back to play Last Day on Earth. What are the changes you would like to see in the scouting event? Share your thoughts down below. Thanks for watching and bye bye.